Here we go again. We are going. So, another week where I have no freaking idea what to talk about. Guess my former co-host was my creative juice getter goer. So, I know I mentioned that. Shit, what did I even call it? Top 10 Tuesdays. I know I said that was a Tuesday thing. So, yeah, it's going to also be a today's episode thing. So, and I think this topic is pretty appropriate because of everything that's going on right now. Not so much social justice stuff, but school. And I would love to talk about social justice stuff, but I don't think everybody's that open-minded and willing to have a thoughtful discussion about it. If you are, that'd be freaking awesome, where we could just talk about it and educate each other, or educate me and get me more semi-qualified. But, you know, it is what it is. So I think talking about school and specifically the top 10 major changes our school should make. I don't necessarily agree with everything on this list. I think a lot of it is awesome. I think a lot of it is not awesome. So I think we should just dive into it. I'll also post a link to this list in the description or on the Facebook page, so that way you could take a look at it. I'm not going to read everything word by word because I don't think you listen to this to just listen to me talk and read, even though that's what this mother freaking thing is, just talking. So, without any further ado, number 10. And obviously, I think a lot of this doesn't apply right now, given the shit distance learning that a lot of parents are going through. Those of you that do have kids that are not distance learning and in class, tell me how that goes, because I have no clue. I know some of you out there probably have school districts where your children are allowed in schools. That would be cool. I think at least a hybrid model would be ideal. That way I can get this damn kid out of my house for a little bit. But, you know, I don't want her to die because of COVID. Oh, because of Voldemort. So let me know your challenges and your experience, and let me know what you're facing every day. So number 10, healthier environment. I think that kind of shows with the crazy obesity rates that are going on right now. You know, not just in adults, but in children as well. I think that does show a bunch of room for an improvement. I did discover that during the Obama administration, you know, Michelle Obama was a huge advocate for getting children active and healthy lifestyles. So, and that also affected schools in the way that they classify vegetables, fruits, everything like that. So, one thing that they did to get around that is make tomato one of the vegetables that's available for a lunch menu. So what did they do? They put the recommended amount of tomato sauce into a pizza, and boom, there you go. You bypassed everything that they're trying to do on getting kids healthy lunches and still giving us pizza just with a little more sauce now. So there that goes. There's always freaking loopholes for everything, but I do think a healthier environment would be awesome, especially now with video games kind of taking over everything, heightened even more with the pandemic going on, because you're really encouraged not to even leave your house or social distance between everybody that you're even around. So it's not like you can play a hands-on game with obviously with little risk. So I think a big thing that we could do is probably improve the meals at school, but in a society and in a world where it's already so easy just to get $1 cheeseburger instead of a $7 salad, I don't know if necessarily making those changes at school is going to fix anything, because guess what? You go home, maybe you're freaking tired after a long day of work, or you're craving some chicken nuggets, and you go out to McDonald's, Burger King, and then you just ruin whatever you did during the day. So I don't even know if that's an option, or if that's even a possibility in improving everything. But I guess it is a step in the right direction. This also can be done by making physical activity mandatory and serving healthier food, which we just mentioned, which has been shown to improve grades and teach students healthy habits. That's the thing. It's definitely a taught habit. You can see with kids that are usually picky eaters, their parents are picky eaters, or they didn't get introduced to certain foods at an early age. Me, says the guy who puts ketchup on his noodles. Not spaghetti noodles, but like the elbow noodles and bow tie noodles. Don't hate on me. Try it. It's actually amazing. And apparently it's also a vegetable now, so haha, suck it. While gym class might not be teaching anything academic, it does keep students active. Studies have found that physical work is important and helps students learn. I think that's kind of true. I mean, even if you go to the gym, you usually leave the gym feeling great. You have more energy. You're not as depressed. You feel better about yourself. And then especially if you form that habit of just going over and over and over, it does really make you feel like shit when you don't go. So that could be true. Not so much here in Las Vegas when it's freaking 115 degrees outside. What are you going to do? Go run laps on the track? No, I'm good, dude. But, getting students active is only half the battle. It's also important for them to eat nutritious food. Most schools don't serve healthy food simply because unhealthy food is cheaper. Yep, hello, McDonald's. So while money would have to be spent on to upgrade school lunches, it would be a smart investment because there's a correlation between healthy meals and improved grades. Yeah, but you already don't want to pay the teachers. You're already not wanting to pay for healthy lunches. So what the fuck? And then you don't want your taxes to be raised. So there you go. You can't pay for that. So where's it coming from? I think a big lifestyle change has to happen for everybody to make that possible. This one, number 9, more life skills classes. If you recall, I think it was episode 1 where we talked about how high school didn't prepare us for shit. They really should have a business class where you're taught what a fucking checkbook is, how to write checks, and not have it be an elective. It should be a required class, a core class, just like English and reading and math. But something to set you up for life. It's something to understand credit, what a credit score is, what you need, what a good credit score is, how to build that. It's like finding a job that requires 5 years of experience, but you're 21, just out of college, trying to find it, and no one's giving you a chance because you don't have that 5 years of experience. Well, you need to start somewhere. So how can I get approved for this credit card, when I don't have credit? That's a good question. Who fucking knows? What's the answer? Get a secured credit card? Okay. Well, I'm already broke, so now I'm supposed to find $500 to buy a credit card and then never see that money again because I'm going to be paying that back when I use it just to try and establish whatever credit is. And, they don't tell you not to close credit cards because apparently that hurts your credit. So even though, my goal is to pay off this credit card and I'm just going to close it because I never want to use it again because I'm really irresponsible and I just racked up $9,000 in credit card debt. But that's hurting it too. And you don't find that out until it's too late. So definitely I think kids and adults, young adults specifically, could benefit from having more life skills classes in school. So what this says more is that if a person graduates at 18 with a high school diploma, they're probably versed in history, math, science, and literature. Yep, exactly what I just said. And no, I didn't read any of this, so I probably should have ahead of time. So I'm sorry I didn't. But This does mean that they're ready for all the trappings of adulthood. And most simply aren't. Experience and training in life skills like budgeting, time management, nutrition, and even social skills can be sorely lacking. For example, how many students coming out of high school know exactly how a credit card works? None of them. Well, probably some, especially the ones with the parents that fucked theirs up. Hello. Shout out to you, Mom. Not enough of them, as many young people do, get into trouble with their first credit card. Well, exactly what I said. In fact, credit card companies are aware of their ignorance and prey on them. If time was taken to teach students important life skills, it could be one of the most useful things they learn. Definitely. I mean, when are you going to learn, or when are you going to use like long division? When, especially testing. It's like you're tested and you're expected to have memorized everything, and especially with those where you can only use that like 3x5 note card, which is total bullshit, because I can't write tiny and I am not smart, so I need to refer to my notes. Nowhere really in life are you going to be tested and not be able to reference something, either materials, internet, something like that. So testing, just like with life skills, I think you should be able to use references. The counter argument this is parents should be teaching their children these things. Well, that's it's kind of true, but when you have parents that don't even know it themselves or are irresponsible themselves, what are you supposed to teach? Just like the last point about food and diet and exercise, if your parents are unhealthy, chances are you're going to be unhealthy. If your parents are not good with their finances, you're probably not going to be good with your finances. But who knows? Number 8 on this list, tenure reform. And if you're like me, you're like, what the hell does that mean? Because school failed you. But basically it means that there are good teachers and bad teachers. So there's wonderful teachers that touch the lives of countless students that you remember for the rest of your life, that you always talk about. Oh my God, Miss Smith in 3rd grade. I always remember her. She was so amazing. But then you have those horrible teachers that keep their jobs for decades. And especially if you stayed in the same town that you were born in and you grew up in, and now your kids are going to the same schools that you went to, and then it's like, oh my God, that teacher's still there. Why? It's because they're teachers and they get to keep their jobs. And especially in school districts like Clark County School District, hey, shout out Vegas, where teachers come and go like every year. The ones that stick around, they're not gonna question that at all. Even if they're not the greatest teachers, they're gonna keep them because they need jobs to fill. But bad teachers also affect taxpayers. In New York City, there were facilities for teachers accused of misconduct called reassignment centers. There was about 600 teachers in 13 centers around the city that were paid to sit in a room and do nothing. They would sit there for months or even years. It was estimated that in 2012, it cost $22 million to pay teachers to sit and do nothing. Some of the teachers had been accused of sexual harassment, yet were still paid. I think that kind of goes to a bigger issue. And oh God, I don't want to get into that because that's going to get canceled like in no time. But there was no like hot teachers when I was younger. And not that I was good looking enough to have a teacher sleep with me. But you see some of these teachers on the news now, and it's like, oh, she slept with some 17-year-old. It's like, damn, like, holy shit, you banged her? And then what? You're going to brag to all your friends because, yeah, I banged the hot teacher. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess we're getting hotter with age, so maybe that's going to get even worse as we grow up. While the reassessment centers have been shut down, they do show a fundamental problem with teachers' unions. Getting rid of the poor and sadistic teachers is an incredibly hard thing to do, which is awful because a bad teacher could change the directions of a student's life in prolonged and profound ways. That is totally true. I think for a lot of people or a lot of kids, school is an escape from their shitty-ass house. Whether it be an abusive parent, whether it be siblings, whether it be just living environment, not having food. I think school is definitely a safe haven for a lot of kids. And having that teacher that affects you in such a positive way is huge to getting through life and getting through the day. And it really makes you look forward to going to school rather than, oh my God, all my teachers suck. I just can't wait to get out of here. Shout out to you, Mr. Salo, Mr. Echeverria. You guys are fucking awesome. Still remember you guys. Love you. Friends on Facebook. Hey. And you're probably not listening to this because you're like, this guy is a dipshit. But, we do definitely need to reward the good teachers and get rid of the bad teachers. But I think, like the other things, that's easier said than done. Number 7 on the list. No homework over the weekends or holidays. Like no shit. Because guess what? I'm not doing it anyway, so that would be great if you could just not make me do it. I think over the weekends, there's really not much homework. Maybe over holidays, like spring break, winter break, maybe there's some projects that you got to do or, that you put off until the very last day. Guilty. But let's see what they say. This may sound like coddling students. Totally is. Hell, well, welcome to 2020. But why do people who work deserve a break on the weekends and holidays more than students do? Well, I guess that's a good point. The truth is that everyone needs a break. People are more productive when they have them. Also, weekends off would give students time to be involved in extracurricular activities without their work suffering because they're forced to rush through it. Instead, it would be better to have dedicated time for work and then free time to unwind and recharge. Well, that probably comes down more time management than anything. I think you need to realize, and something I preach to my kids all the time, you got to do, holy shit, you got to do what you got to do first before you can do what you want to do. And, that doesn't sound like fun. It's not fun. But that's fucking life, and you just got to suck it up, which I don't think that's the culture we're in anymore, but whatever. Number 6, mandatory study hall. Yeah, that would be great, because what the hell is study hall? I never had that. It's understandable that teachers would want to maximize their teaching time and then have students do their work at home. Studies have found that reasonable amount of homework is correlated with higher achievement in school. But while homework is important, research found that giving students a mandatory study period can be incredibly effective simply because it's a dedicated time to ensure work gets done. That's true. I mean, you get home at the end of a long day. What do you want to do? Not homework. You want to chill, hang out, relax, eat a snack, and then boom, there you go. Watch a movie, watch a TV show. There you go. Now a few hours has passed. Oh, shit, I really got to do the homework. Oh, it's dinner time. Okay, let me eat dinner. Okay, now I really got to do the homework. Oh, shit, it's already 8 o'clock. Got to get ready for bed. So I think having that period, I think essentially after that, it's not homework. It's just more schoolwork. So maybe they're trying to say, mandatory study hall in addition to no homework over the weekends or holidays. It's kind of like maybe make homework more schoolwork, which I guess might be a good idea. But then it kind of takes away from the whole concept of homework and making sure you retained what you learned, because I think, and it looks like one of the things coming up on this list is also going to support this. You kind of do a memory dump, or at least I did. Okay, I learned what I needed to learn to pass this test, to pass this quiz, to pass this quarter, this semester. Now I'm going to fucking forget all of it because now I got to learn all this other stuff. And I think that's still something I have never been able to manage. Because I forget everything. Number 5. Stop standardized testing. Hashtag no child left behind. Thanks, Bush. In theory, standardized testing makes sense. It's a quantifiable way to see if a student knows the material. But there are just too many problems with it. Standardized tests tend to be biased against people of lower income as well as African American and Latinos. In fact, the gap is so big that some school boards have targeted percentages for each race. In Virginia, 46% of black students had to pass standardized math tests, while 68% of white students and 82% of Asian students had to pass. Well, I mean, I think they just realize that Asians are fucking smart, especially at math. Shout out to you, Novert. But that does, I think that, again, shows just more of a racial and ethnic divide that we have. It not only is just in the judicial system, it's in the educational system. You know, I think it spans across so many different things. And maybe we should probably do something on social justice, because there's a lot of the stuff just in this alone that shows things need to change, and things need to change radically, and for several different reasons. But we'll get into that later, because I need to focus on this. Otherwise, I'm going to get in trouble. It's also important to note that standardized testing has prejudiced roots. According to Columbia University professor Nicholas Lehman, standardized testing was developed in the 1940s as a way to keep Jewish students out of Ivy League schools. Well, now they just buy their way in there. So, and not just Jewish students. I think, anybody rich. Another problem is that tests are created by companies who have little knowledge about the school system that they're testing. The tests are rigged and don't take many factors into consideration. What the fuck is there to take into consideration? It's a test. It's a question and 4 answers. Pick the right answer. So maybe it is a little coddling. Standardized testing is also expensive, with millions of dollars paid to companies to create and mark the tests. It's an incredible amount of money that could be spent on more effective tools like healthier food. Well, yeah, but maybe if they had healthier food, they could keep the same tests, because according to, number freaking 10, if they just had healthier food, they would test better and have better brains. But, whatever. Life is a contradiction, and so is this list. Number 4, merit pay for teachers. Well, that kind of ties in with number 8 about tenure reform, rewarding the good ones and getting rid of the bad ones. I think that's said in life, right? I mean, unless you're at certain jobs, you get rewarded via a raise if you're doing something good, or if you take on a bigger position, or you get fired if you fucking suck. So why don't we do that for our teachers too? And I mean, God knows that they deserve a little bit more money. But again, where's that money coming from? Taxpayers. People don't want their taxes raised. But then we have a marijuana tax here in Nevada. Where's all that money going to? Don't know. Unemployment's running out of money. Where's that coming from? No clue. Economy's shitty. Wow. Bigger topics, huh? Exactly. But a fundamental aspect of capitalism, which I know a lot of you hate, but suck it, because capitalism is how we are, is paying a person a competitive rate for their performance. Okay. Also, Jeff Bezos came out today. Apparently he's worth like $200 billion now. Okay. If you have a problem with that, that's fine. If you don't have a problem with it, that's fine too. No one's being forced to work at Amazon. Yeah, they should get paid higher, but guess what? Then everything else goes up too. So, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. You're screwed either way, I guess. You get paid more, you screw everyone else because my shit's more expensive now. You don't pay them more, their lives suck. I don't know. Is there a solution? Maybe. Do you know it? Well, if you do, you should really freaking be on this podcast, because that would be epic. And then we can run for like city council, and then Senate, and then fucking Congress, and president, and I could be your first lady. But teachers aren't paid this way. A good teacher and a poor teacher who have worked the same number of years are usually paid the same. Miss Zemp, 5th grade, Whitney Elementary, I know you. That's unfair to taxpayers, good teachers, and students. And that's why people, including former President Obama, think that merit pay is a better method. Well, did he do anything about it? I don't think so. Merit pay would mean that teachers are given a salary based on their performance and then given bonuses for meeting certain quotas. But then that falls into the No Child Left Behind standardized testing. Okay, guys, we need to cram hard for this one test because my raise is now on the line. So I think in order to implement merit pay for teachers, you have to then change the standardized testing and then the curriculum and how kids are judged and graded. Because if all you're focusing on is testing, then that's not really helping you learn. That's just giving you a study guide and saying this is going to be kind of like the test, but maybe number 4 on the study guide is number 5 on the test. So, but the answers are the exact same. So just study the study guide. I'll give it to you all week, and then we'll test on Friday. And then, oh my God, the whole class got an A. Let's give that teacher a raise. Did that teacher really do an effective job? No. That teacher just gave you a tool that you memorized to pass the tests so that they could get a raise. So I don't know if that's a good idea. Oh, look at that. There are 2 main roadblocks to merit pay. Well, let's see if one of them is what I just said. The first is that people are concerned that teachers may just focus on getting the bonus and manipulate the situation by giving students the answers rather than do real teaching. Holy shit. Man, I really should have read this before I started reading it to you guys. Second, unions also continuously block the idea because it goes against their fair pay rules. But despite the criticism, studies have shown that merit pay does help students get better grades. Well, probably because they got the answers, so the teachers could get the raise. This one, no. Number 3, pay students. Oh, yeah, Junior, you're actually paid in life experience and knowledge that you're going to use for the rest of your life. I don't need to pay you. But they say student motivation is a serious problem. Hell yeah, it is. Maybe just freaking not have my school start at 7:05. Maybe I'll actually go. How do you explain to a 14-year-old that they need to do well on their math test so they can get into college and then get a good job? I don't know. I think a lot of you probably could say that your parents said you needed to do good on your math test, otherwise you'd get beat. Can't relate, but I also never did good on a math test, so maybe I needed to get beat. The human mind simply does not work that way. The time span between the task and the reward is too vast. However, if students were paid bonuses for doing well, then there's a more immediate and tangible reward for completing the task. Well, okay, maybe you got to think long term on that. Maybe you can get like a report card. Okay, you get like $5 for every B, $10 for every A. But I don't know. Is that really the right way to go about it? I mean, you should be doing it just to do it because it's the right thing, because that's what you should be doing, because that's your job as a kid. Let's see. Paying students, oh God, even just to attend class and to do their homework has been found to help students in troubled areas. Well, okay. But if you do it in just troubled areas, then that kind of leaves out the other people that are not in the troubled areas. In schools that have paid students, grades improved, attendance increased, and the percentage of people graduating went up. Maybe. I think there's also a lot of faults in that too. But, oh man, what did I just say about school starting at 7:05? Number 2. Later start time for high schools. Wow, yeah. You give a kid a fucking car. Okay, no. Kid worked for his car. And he didn't really have a lot of supervision, so, he didn't go to class. Oh, shocker. In the United States, the average starting time for high schools is 7:59. I think it was 7:05 here, because 8 o'clock doesn't sound bad, but I think it was 7. Schools start that early to save money on busing, as bus drivers tend to do 2 different routes. First, they pick up and drop off middle and high school students, then they handle the grade school students. While earlier start times may save money, it's not ideal for teenagers. Yeah, I agree. It comes down to biology. Oh, there's a legit reason. See, Mom? Listen. At about the age of 14, circadian rhythms? Dude, don't know if I said that right. Shift, and teenagers start to stay up and wake up later. Their brains don't even release melatonin, a hormone that induces sleep, until about after 11 p.m. Ooh, I wonder if that's Eastern or Standard, Pacific. Oh, maybe. Oh my God, maybe that explains why some people aren't morning people. Maybe because they're just in the wrong time zone. Holy shit! Somebody should research that. Also, teenagers need about 9 hours of sleep to function at their best. I know a lot of fucking adults that probably need that. To wake them up earlier interrupts their natural sleep cycle. Oh, poor babies. And makes them less productive students. In a study of 9,000 schools, researchers found that grades in all classes got better if the classes started after 8:30. That doesn't sound bad. Or maybe, make learning exciting too. Goes back to our teachers being better. They also found that there was a decrease in the amount of car accidents involving teenagers because they weren't in a hurry and they were much more alert. Yeah, thankfully, never got in an accident when I was a teenager driving to school. But that would have been nice to not be freezing in the morning or be able to wake up and actually have breakfast or do something before class. Number one, and I think this is a great idea, year-around schooling. I'm sure a lot of you are like me, where last day before summer vacation, oh my God, okay, I'm totally ready for this summer. Then you had 3 months of just shit. You had video games, movies, playing outside with your friends, swimming, not a care in the world, not a homework in the world, not a math problem in the world, and then you forgot everything by the first day of the next school year. And I really hope I'm not alone in that. But and that's very evident with my daughter because she forgot everything, and now, especially with this distance learning, I'm having to teach her because the teacher can't teach shit over Zoom, which I don't blame the teacher. But kind of, maybe a little bit. Maybe you just mute the kids so that way you can teach. But year-round schooling, let's see what they got to say. School schedules aren't very productive, you're telling me. Students spend 9 months of the year building their knowledge and their skills, and then they're released for 3 months. Wow, see, again, if I would have just read this before I started doing this, I could have probably not repeated myself, and you would probably still be listening. So, and if you are listening, thank you so much. But then in September, they're either expected to suddenly recall everything from the previous year or spend the first few weeks reviewing and relearning. The reason we have summer breaks is that before the earliest 20th century, many cities had different school schedules. The schedule then standardized across the country to make it easier to do standardized testing and distribute textbooks. There's probably some government conspiracy behind all that, trying to get everybody on the same page. Oh, maybe we should make a conspiracy theory series. Maybe you'd be interested in that. Maybe you can let me know if you'd be interested in that. And then maybe I could do it. And then maybe you could be into conspiracy theories with me. Damn, where was I? Prior to summer vacations, cities had their students go to class for about the same amount of time as contemporary students, but their breaks were spread throughout the year. Studies have routinely shown that having students attend school all year round would be more productive and effective. There would be less review, and the students would have continuous practice. Well, then you got to pay the teachers more. But that would be fine, because then I guess, you wouldn't be like, oh shit, it's summer vacation. How do I watch my kid while I have to work still? Because adults don't get summer vacation. There would be less review, and students would have continuous practice. But the idea of summer vacation is so ingrained in our cultural consciousness that change is difficult. Well, guess what? Change is difficult all throughout life. You either adapt to change or it changes and then you are left behind, because change and life and time does not stop for anyone. I do have one of my favorite quotes of all time is about change. And it goes like this. It's by King Whitney Jr. Change has a considerable psychological impact on the human mind. To the fearful, it is threatening because it means that things may get worse. To the hopeful, it is encouraging because things may get better. And to the confident, it is inspiring because the challenge exists to make things better. So, and again, it's just what I tell my daughter. You have to go into it with the right mindset, because if you go into it, and same with life, if you go into it with a negative mindset, you're going to hate every minute of what you're doing. You're going to dread it. You're going to regret it. And then you're going to not realize until it's too late that, damn, you just wasted all your time doing that. So I think to say change is an issue, I don't know, and that is difficult. It really just depends on your willingness and your open-mindedness to accept the change and to inspire the change and to be part of the change. And that ties in with everything, not just school, not just life, but society, racism, culture, diversity, acceptance. You know, I don't know. I don't know where things are going right now with the country. You kind of be like, oh my God, all right. It's been quiet. And then all of a sudden fucking someone gets shot 7 times in the back. And it kind of starts it back up again. Either that or it's maybe just like the media kind of not showing the protests that have been happening. And then so you think out of sight, out of mind, which I don't know. Ignorance is bliss, but you can only be ignorant for so long. So I don't know. I hope, hopefully this wasn't too horrible of a podcast. Let me know what you think about these top 10 changes that we could make in school. Again, I'll post a link to this so you can tell me what you might think that you would want to change or add to it, or what you agree with or don't agree with, because I'm not surprised if you don't agree with anything I just said, because apparently not a lot of people do. On another note, I really do appreciate you guys still sticking with me. I think it's just going to be a little bumpy for a while till we figure this whole thing out, but we will figure it out because the challenge exists to make things better. Ooh, I like that. Maybe I should end it with that. But as always, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. I hope you guys are being safe. Hope you guys are taking care of each other. And I'll see you next time, and maybe we can get semi-qualified together.